let's talk about these sensational headlines we see in the gaming media on YouTube. Because a lot of it are done to just for clickbait, to get you to click on their link, because they're getting desperate to have you click on their link, and that's how they do it, right? I would suggest that's a bad strategy. And I suggest it's a bad strategy because people will stop trusting them. People will start to think, yeah, these people are just saying that when I click on it, it's going to be something boring, and it will eventually backfire when more people know what they're talking about. Right? See, people get sick of it. They have to be a bit more honest with more integrity. And users need to have a bit more self-respect then to allow themselves to buy into it. For starters, right, Elder Scrolls Online, that has a lot to cry about, I'd say. DLCs, house mod, well, basically house mods, basically for £200. You know, says, and it's just a horse armor thing. It's very pretty, but £200, that's 4 times the price of a full-time game. I mean, I play Elder Scrolls Online occasionally, but I just stick with the missions. I avoid the deals. I avoid the DLCs that are a waste of money. As a consequence, I haven't been stung by that particular rip-off or that particular scam. So I don't have any bad feelings because I don't buy into it. It's my choice. I've got more self-respect than that for myself. So it doesn't affect me, and I don't go on making videos saying this is terrible because I'm using my own common sense. Now, the old Pokemon term, you've got to collect them all. No, you don't. You don't have to collect them all. Just collect the ones you actually want and leave the rest. Just because somebody releases $5,000 doesn't mean you have to own $5,000. And your kid, he doesn't have to have all $5,000 either. Because he's not even going to notice if you put one in the fire. It'd be gone, he wouldn't have a clue. You know? So you don't have to collect them all. And I think people need to start thinking in terms of we don't need everything. It's a waste. This is where we go wrong in society. The what wastage is because people think they need to own everything. They don't. So anyhow, sensational headlines. I would suggest if companies are, if company gaming media that is, are basically doing alarmist headlines like they did for Skyrim Anniversary Edition, like they've done for Starfield, Diablo, Blizzard, and everything else. It's clickbait. I would suggest users like yourselves start seeing it as clickbait, right? And just go from there. Don't bother clicking on it, just think, yeah, it's probably going to be nonsense. And then give your view to a channel that you do like that doesn't resort to sensational headlines to get views. Because it's probably going to be more interesting. And as for money, if a game doesn't suit your tastes and you're about to complain about it, maybe you should think you shouldn't be buying that game in the first place. If you really feel that strongly about the features in it being bad for you, maybe you should buy a different game. Simple as that, right? It might sound it might sound like common sense, but there's so little common sense these days. So if you don't like the sound of a game, instead of spending months complaining about it or trying to force the issue by being angry all the time, buy a different game. Because I'll tell you now, not spending money on a game and buying a different game is a powerful message to send. Developers will hear that loud and clear because their bottom line is money and your money going somewhere else. That's a message. Know your own power. That is the biggest power you have, to take your money and give it to somebody else. So, what we learned from this. One, you've got the power to buy any game you like, and if you don't necessarily like what you're looking at, you shouldn't buy it. And these clickbait headlines are basically insincere grabs at your attention. They usually stir up anger, and that anger doesn't disappear. It stays in the community and gets people riled up, and they start doing stupid things. They need to take responsibility for their own headlines, these sites, and understand that this is because of them. Just like January 6th with Trump was Trump's responsibility. Well, the kind of nonsense you get floating around gaming communities comes from the people who make the videos. So we need to have responsibility for the videos we put out. We need to take responsibility. And those people that see these clear attempts at clickbait, getting to click, we need to stop clicking on them. It's as simple as that. See you in the next one.